Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
All right, thank you so much for listening to this final episode of the special Monsters of the Week episode. My name is Jordan.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeremy.
My name is Aaron.
My name is Elijah.
All right, guys, so this was my first experience running Monsters of the Week. I hope you enjoyed it. What did you guys think of the rule set, just in general?
It was interesting. It was a little frustrating because even when you tried to do something carefully, like taking precaution, you still ended up doing equal damage to yourself and it. So I ended up the worse for wear near the end.
Yeah, it's not a system that's really designed to make sure that people stay safe. It intentionally wants to put you in danger, which I think is really cool.
Well, yeah, you weren't playing a character.
I mean, my monsters died.
Nobody cares about your monsters. We were trying to kill them.
Well, they were trying to kill us, so...
Well...
Did you feel limited, though, by, like, the menu choices rather than a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Although, looking through, and I was like, ooh, I could do this. Ooh, I could do this. I never had the opportunity to use some of the stuff that I thought would have been really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the sniper rifle.
And also some of the stuff that you wanted to do, it's like, oh, I can use magic. Wow, these choices don't really fit the situation.
Right.
So it's like, what do I do? So you had to get a little creative with it.
Yeah.
Which was good because it helped us to think like our characters would in this situation better.
Yeah.
At least I thought so.
Now, I know that Jeff and Jeremy have been playing in a Dungeon World campaign, which is a very similar system. How much did it feel like that?
There are elements, parts of it. There are other things that were a little different.
Well, we were also playing it in a very loose setting. It wasn't as strict on the rules as we are here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the person we have running that game has some of his own like house add-ons that he's done to it, which made it a little interesting as well. I mean, I like the idea of the system.
It's a very clever system.
Yeah.
I think we were talking in between one of the episodes. The only thing I wish was a little different about the system is, I mean, if you do well, like you never gain any real experience. It's only when you mess up. So,
yeah.
I mean, and for everybody who follows what the main campaign that we're doing right now with Bone Throwers knows that we usually roll horribly.
You guys were really great.
But tonight, we were on.
It was good.
I think there was only a couple times where we actually really rolled poorly, and then with with the luck, you can just it's a 12.
Yeah.
Now, luck, I left the luck as it is on the sheets because, I mean, we have the potential of coming back to these characters in another game. But typically for, like, convention one-shots and everything like that, they say to limit luck to, like, 3 points.
Yeah. I can see that. Because what is it? It's 7 points. And that's a lot.
That's a lot, especially for a one-shot.
Does it restart if you, like, go to a different story?
No, it does not. That's the whole luck that you have for your character. Unless when you take some advances later on, then you can like remove 1 point of luck.
Okay.
Yeah. But for the most part, that's all the luck you get.
And that makes sense. And it makes sense for a one shot to limit it to like 1.
Yeah.
At most 2.
I think they give them 3 for the most one shots, like for conventions and stuff like that. Now, Elijah, this is your first time playing any game that is not Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So there's a lot. I feel like in a lot of ways, Dungeons and Dragons is a little more freeform. In some ways, I think you're locked into a role. In some ways, I feel like you have more options in D&D. What did you think about this system compared to that?
I really liked it. It wasn't what I expected because the gear and the things I selected weren't actually useful, or some of them weren't actually useful.
Well, they weren't for this time, but they might
right,
be
yeah.
in a future scenario.
I think that the gear that you chose would normally be very useful.
Especially if you're like fighting a Sasquatch or something like that.
Yeah, but for something that's invulnerable to conventional weapons, because we had to go buy alcohol and super soakers to kill these things, which is very weird.
I was expecting like a final battle against like an army of werewolves, and it was like super soakers versus Snallygaster.
But it meant you guys had to be more creative.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which I thought by that time we were familiar with what was on the sheet, and we was like, oh, we can do this and get creative. We sort of knew how to use what was available to us to our advantage. Whereas at the beginning, we were like, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how to use this.
But, it's pretty crazy how quickly you can pick it up just by having the rule sheet in front of you and having the character sheet in front of you. And then you can, like the basic moves, once you have all that down, you can go pretty quickly.
Yeah, it is very nice having a simple set of basic moves that you can do, and then your character has extra moves that's specific to that character.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice having that laid out for you in a simple, easy to get to way. For things like D&D or Pathfinder or Star Wars, there's like these large, thick books, and there's like 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah.
That if you want to be able to do everything that's possible, you have to dig and see what your character has monetarily wise, or if the GM doesn't count money, what things are possible in the world that's there.
Right. Whereas with this one, you just need the one book.
Yeah.
And as long as you're willing to play in that vein of Monster Hunters, you don't really need anything else. And it's the same type of thing with Apocalypse World. You're always playing in a post-apocalyptic scenario. Mm-hmm. Dungeon World, you're always playing in a Dungeons and Dragons type of world and stuff like that. Aaron, from what I understand, you spent a lot of time with the rule book and everything. So you felt pretty confident coming in?
I think probably spent too much time in the rule book. I think because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing when I sat down. And so I spent probably an hour just reading it over again today, reading over the different roles and reading over the different moves and leveling up, and just I think this one's really neat. I think this rule set is really cool. There are some tweaks that I think I would personally make if I were to do this. Mm-hmm. But for a basic rule set that anyone can pick up and run with, it's awesome.
Yeah. And I like the closed off nature of one gaming session, one story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you move on. Next time you play, you move on to another monster, another thing like that. And now you can definitely do like campaigns and arcs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But if you only have a little bit of time, like if you only have one afternoon, then this is a perfect game to grab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see the arcs sort of like this is where we started, is like picking up. This group has done stuff together before.
Right.
So just like the Medusa Bear came in, this one, like a few sessions down the road, we can be like, oh, Snallygaster, we need alcohol. And everybody's like,
oh no. Yeah, and have that come back and get at you. Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying before, this is pulling a lot from TV shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Supernatural, X-Files. Fringe, Being Human, there's a lot of really good TV shows, a lot of stuff that I really enjoy. And then like films, they specifically list like Big Trouble in Little China, Bubba Hotep, My Name is Bruce.
Yes.
And so with stuff like Bubba Hotep and My Name is Bruce, Attack the Block too. You feel like you can pull a little bit of the more absurdist stuff into it, and which is like. So yeah, Super Soakers is
Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys, you were all saying that you thought I made the monster up completely.
Yeah, because we had never heard of this thing before.
No.
I was like, what kind of shenanigan is he?
Snallygaster.
What kind of monster is the Snallygaster? So the Snallygaster actually has its roots in German immigrants who came to Western Maryland in the 1700s.
Huh.
And
That's my family.
Yeah. So the name Snallygaster actually is a combination of two German words that have been changed over time. Schnelle Geists, which means fast spirits.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's like it developed over time and became known as the Snallygaster. In the 1800s, they think that it might have been used as an excuse to cover up lynchings. You know, like people just magically disappear. Oh, the Snallygaster
got him.
Yeah. And then in the 1900s, a lot of the mythology that I use today was developed by competing newspapers that were trying to sell articles.
So it was fake news?
It was fake news in the age of yellow journalism. That's where I was pulling a lot of it from. The thing about the alcohol, it was a true Snallygaster story, but what happened was it drowned in a 250-gallon vat of moonshine that was then blown up by the federal marshals.
With dynamite?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
They got the dynamite.
So that's why I modified that, because 250 gallons of alcohol is a lot.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, if it just disintegrates the skin, then that works perfectly fine. The mountain where the cave was actually is real. Everything is real. Like in terms of location and everything. I spent a lot of time on Google Maps.
Can I say something?
Sure.
That was actually one of the struggles that I had with this one. Because I've been to South Mountain State Park.
Yeah.
And I've been in one of the visitor centers there. And so trying to align what I saw there with what I was experiencing here.
Yeah.
And it made it tougher for me, surprisingly.
Yeah, it does. Because I've been up in that area as well. And it's like, trying to reconcile
Right.
what I actually know with this weird thing that's going on there. It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was trying to use Hagerstown as a big, like, centering thing. Because it's like, oh, well, it's on this side, it's on that side. So it gave you a more general idea.
Yeah, because that was one of the questions you asked. It's like, oh, so where are you from? I was like, well, there needs to be a town there. What town is near there?
Yeah.
I'm trying
same
to
thing.
come up with actually a real place that's actually near there. And I was like, couldn't think of anything at the moment.
So yeah, like the High Rock is actually a very popular stopping point on the Appalachian Trail. It's a real thing. Really covered in graffiti. And also Rock Mountain, in addition to the military radio tower there is also like a TV antenna that's on the top of that mountain as well. Now the military radio tower is called Site C, and this is really cool. This was one of my favorite things that you guys didn't get to. It's part of the Alternate Joyce Communications Center, which is basically like over the line in Pennsylvania. There's basically a giant bunker where they basically have an entire second Pentagon under this mountain. So in case there's a nuclear war or something, the government can continue to work. And that's actually where it's very near Camp David, and it's also where like Dick Cheney would go and hide if there was like during 9/11 and stuff like that. So it's a real thing. The radio tower is part of its communications array, so that's why there were a lot of guards there and everything, because this is an important part of national defense. So
Why was there no fence?
there is a fence up at the top, but the guards are more like, I don't know if
they
it's actually
do-
like outer perimeter sweeps as well. So yeah, that was really cool, and I figured, well, you can't have the military and Fort Detrick really was the base for bio warfare in the 40s through 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was like, well, I could pull all of this in and add a giant terrifying monster in on top of that. It's really cool. Now, in terms of the Snallygaster, in addition to being a monster, the monster has actually spawned a beverage called the Snallygaster. It's the float That's the Mountain Dew mixed with vanilla ice cream.
So that's called a Snallygaster.
That is called the Snallygaster.
That's awesome.
Well played.
Yeah.
Very nice. You know, and if I had if any of us had decided to search Mountain Dew vanilla ice cream float, or exactly what he brought.
And also, there is a craft beer festival down in Washington, D.C. called the Snallygaster Festival. And
Adding that to the calendar.
so there you go. There's some local history for you. And that's one thing that I found so interesting about this is because you learn a lot about local history by looking at like the monsters and stuff that are local to your area. So I could have gone like, oh, it could have been a ghost haunting. It could have been like a mummy in a museum or something like that. But I was like, I want to give this a lot of local flair and bring something.
And this is really the first time we've done that with anything that we've played.
Yeah.
We've always been, oh, we're in Chicago, we're in Seattle, we're in Texas, we're other places.
Yeah. I almost want to do a whole campaign of Maryland monsters.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because
That would be cool.
there's a Nessie equivalent that's supposed to be in the Chesapeake Bay called Chessie.
Yeah, and I could be wrong on the town, but there is actually, I think, at Burtonsville. I don't know if it's Burtonsville, but there's around the Laurel area. There's some town that has a goat man.
Yeah, there is a goat man.
Yeah,
there is a.
as one of the.
There's
I remember hearing
there's
about
like
that.
a werewolf-like creature called the Dwyo. And actually, I didn't bring this into play, but the Dwyo and the Snallygaster are supposed to be mortal enemies that fight each other. So there's a lot of really cool monsters, and you can have the Poe toaster being some kind of ghost. John Wilkes Booth grew up in a house that's about 10 miles from where we're sitting right now. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can use here, just in Maryland, not too far from where we are, and make it a really good game. All right, end of session experience questions. 1. Did we conclude the current mystery?
We did.
That is a yes. 2. Did you save someone from certain death or worse? I don't.
Yes.
Who?
Whoever their next meal was supposed to be.
I mean, would the dogs have killed him?
I mean, given enough time, if he wasn't able to get to a gun or something like that.
I think it means did we save someone else?
Okay. Yeah.
It's not someone not party related.
I mean, we
No, we let those army guys.
Yeah, that takes away any saving that I did by creating the monster that killed.
the people who would have been eaten though.
Yeah, no, so you did not
We
see
saved
that.
them from the fate of the Snallygaster.
Yeah. Did you learn something new and important about the world?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That Snallygasters are.
Mm-hmm. None of us knew that.
And did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
My truck is messy, Omar.
What's that say about your personality? Your character's personality?
I'm focused on killing monsters. That's just about it.
I think being the first session
Yeah,
that
I
we played, everybody learned something new and important about.
All right, there you go. So you get to mark 2 experience on your sheet. And when you hit 5 experience, that's when you can level up. And
Dang it! I'm at 4.
I'm at 3, but I'm at 4 harm. I'm unstable.
I think you can go ahead and clear harm at the end of the session.
One thing that I think we should do for one-shots is spend maybe a little extra time at the character creation part, fleshing out some backgrounds and especially personalities at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I mean...
You didn't really know what you were getting into in terms of personality.
Right. So the beginning I thought went a little bit slow and was kind of sporadic all over the place because we didn't know what the personalities were. And I didn't do this intentionally, but I built a character that is basically going the opposite direction of Grayson Digby in the main thing. So I was like, wait, okay, I'm not playing Grayson. I need to play somebody else.
So if there is a wild arrest between mysteries, then heal all your harm. So go ahead and clear harm.
Okay.
Yay.
So I think you said it's the same thing about Benedict and
Yeah. Like I was looking for a not Benedict character.
But I think it's funny that it came out in a little bit that you were still so far removed from society that things like cell phones were like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
You can do that?
You can take a picture with your phone? What?
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Fair enough. And
But no, you weren't the the single-minded, I'm going to focus on this one thing.
No, I tried not to do that. Although he was still pretty intense, not so much in the same way that Benedict is. Yeah, I think fleshing out character and motivation and stuff like that would be very helpful at the beginning.
Yeah, well, now, like this session really was to kind of discover who your character was, if this was going to be a main campaign, or if this was going to be continued as a campaign, which I think it very easily could be.
I mean, it can, yeah. I was just saying for one shots, if we spend just a little bit extra time developing and thinking about personality.
Yeah.
I really like the questions that you ask. Just random questions that you ask, like, "Oh, when was the last time your character did this?"
Yeah, I should have pulled up that book on my Kindle and then asked.
That helps get your mind focused around. Okay, this is how my character reacts in this type of situation.
That's always a good way to start, because
those books, I am so glad I purchased. It's a writing prompt book, like how to write a novel in 30 days. But those questions actually are like the real gem of the book for what we actually use it for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're like our normal questions don't really apply to this session, I don't think. Well, best role playing. I thought Elijah did a great job with
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody did a good job. I think Jeff did a good job too with
Yeah.
especially the pizza guy. His boss.
Yeah.
You train the new guy.
You give him 15 minutes, he's on a skateboard. Like,
It's a real small town. It's like Darlington size.
on a skateboard though?
I'm in good shape. I could do it. I am not in good shape. My character's in good shape.
Round is a shape. All right, well, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Well, thank you so much for listening. Hope you all have a good one. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means that you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @bonethrowerstheater, and also you can look us up on Facebook and Google+. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.